So we're going to begin with this template that I got offline, and I also have some PDF copies in my shop, some tracing papers, so we can begin to make our illustration. So first I want to start off by tracing over the neckline. So I just go right in here because I want a sweetheart neckline and just trace right over the bust area for about the point and the shape. I go along the sides and stay very close to the body because I'm trying to create a silhouette that's very close to the body. So I just go along the hip area and along the sides of these very long legs. So I'm trying to create a mermaid silhouette, and that's usually like just below the knee, and then it flares out quite dramatically. And then just a very sort of simple, basic hemline, nothing too crazy. The best thing about this technique is you don't have to be an expert at fashion illustration in order to get the look that you're going for. So I'm going to do the back area. I want the back to sit a little lower, and I'm just going to have a plain center back seam, as well as go along the body again to create our back image of that dress. We're going to go along the leg areas, flare out, and just create that very simple flare and basic hem. Looking at this again, I realized maybe that my lines for my mermaid style may be just a little bit too low, so I just want to make them a little bit more further up so that they're not so dramatic, as the dress will be like a mix of a trumpet slash mermaid, so not as dramatic. Okay, and again, I'm just going to go along those lines just to sort of get a basic outline of the dress illustration. This is going to be a simple design, a simple dress that we're going to be creating in subsequent videos. I just want you guys to have a basic idea of the dress. So I also want to have a seam for the waist separating the bodice from the skirt, and I'm going to be adding some golden applique to the dress. So this is me attempting to create golden applique pieces, and I'd like to have it both in the front and in the back, going along the waist just to give some drama to the waist and accentuate the waist. So I'll be adding that to the dress, and I just want that to be visible in the illustration. And I try to add as many of the corresponding seams that are going to be in the actual dress. So I'm going to do some darts, as well as this tulle glitter piece that I'm going to be adding to the back. So I want to have this bit of drama in the back, so I'm going to be adding glitter tulle to the back of the dress. And I just want that to be illustrated on the gown as well, so you'll see me doing that. So this is just the basic silhouette of the dress. Then I go in with my pencil rather, and then I go in and I add in the rest of her features. So I go in and draw the outline of her arms in the pose that I'd like them to be in, and just go along all those lines. The face area. For my designs, I don't go into detail as far as the face. I usually just do like one eye, sort of like a very artist inspired sort of one eye, lip, and just a hint of the nose, and just keep it there. I don't draw hair. It's very artist, sort of artiste, I should say, where I just don't get heavily into the features. It's up to you what you want to do with your design. If you want to add more features, that's just what I do. So I remove that template because now I have sort of like the basis of what my design is going to be. So that template is gone. And I go in now and start to, now I have my outline and I'm going to begin coloring it in. I have my Sharpie marker here, and I'm just going to get right to it. Go in and start coloring in the actual dress, which is going to be a black satin dress. I do try to stay light on my pressure, and I try to leave some areas open so that you can see that there's seams. So I try not to color absolutely everything in. As you can see here, the zipper is going to be visible. some of those darts are going to be visible. So I'm just taking my marker and going around those areas just so you can see that they are being colored in, but they're not being swallowed up. I mean, the other option is some artists actually just cover the whole thing and then they go back with like a white marker and color over those things. I have very basic illustration tools because that's not a huge component of what I do. So I just make sure I have like the fundamentals I need to create and finish my illustrations. I don't have too many more of like the additional markers. So I basically do this. I go in and I color the entire dress. I'm going to leave this area here where the tool is going to be open because it's supposed to be sheer. So there needs to be some contrast there. So we don't want to go in and immediately make that as dark. So what I do is I go in and I create this lighter tone by coloring with the color pencil. Just very quickly, not anything too crazy. Again, we're going for like basic, simple, easily achievable techniques that any of us can do, and we don't need like a master's degree in fashion illustration to sort of just get the point across for the design that we're trying to create. As you can see here, I lose a little bit of my underneath silhouette, and I'm going to have to go back and work on that because then I sort of lose the fact that I am going to have a sheer component to this. So if I go in and I color this entire thing in, I lose my sheer component. So what do? I take my Sharpie marker, which is a little bit thinner. I just go right in there and go over those lines in the inside. That way I don't lose that sheer aspect that I'm trying to create with the dress. So I keep that sheer looking, as you can see, very easily. Your eyes are able to distinguish the fact that you're looking at a sheer panel for the dress in addition to the underneath main component of the dress. And I just go in with the markers just to create this look. So we go through those lines and we're just finalizing everything so that the panel is more visible. We give it a little bit more detail. So I just go in a few more times and just give more of those details to the design. Now I'm going to create those flow lines. So these lines are just to accentuate the fact that this is fabric and it's moving and it's not just like a solid piece. So that's how we get sort of some of the movement in our pieces, is when we add these lines to it. And I usually just go from the point of the flow or the wave of the bottom of the dress and I just go up from there. Now I'm taking my color pencil and going in one more time for a second or maybe even a third layer, just to give it a little bit more density so that you can see, like, yes, there are some areas that are very, very sheer along the sides, and then towards that middle part where the main fabric is overlaid, it is a little bit darker. And I want to create this sort of glittery image. Again, you might use, or artists might use, a white marker, but I don't have access to a white marker, so I just take my black fine point Sharpie and I go over just to create this glitter effect. I take a silver pencil and just go over that one more time because I want to create the effect of some sparkle and some glitter, which is going to be a part of that main fabric. And I just go over that as many times as I can to create that look of sparkle and glitter that the actual piece is going to have. So now we want to go in there because, again, I said we're going to have this gold applique. And again, we're not going crazy as far as the tools we have available. We want to make this easy and simple. So I just take a simple yellow color pencil and I color in those areas so I can get full coverage. And then I go in with the gold just to create some contrast, and I go over that top just so that it's not like yellow, that there is some hint of gold that comes up on the illustration again. So it's just not pure yellow. So you just toss in that gold. And this is just like a pack of color pencils that come with, I think, like 30 or 40 colors. So there's another type of gold in there just to create some dimension, that it's just not a flat sort of like yellow or hyper gold color, just so it's more realistic to the actual illustration. And I just go over that a couple of times. These are the end results for the design. What I did to the back of the dress, I just transferred those same techniques over to the front of the dress to create this very basic and simple design. I hope you guys will join me in future videos where I will show you how to actually construct this entire dress. So stay tuned for my weekly submissions. Thanks. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Videos covering dressmaking, fashion, lectures, and more. Enroll in Lady Cloth U on Teachable for dressmaking and fashion design courses. See you again soon.